So right after I bought this boat, I had plans that all my friends were coming to Miami on the 7th of January to visit. So the plan was for me to bring the Albin there, and I had it done in plenty of time, but after buying this boat, I was left with essentially 2 weeks to fix the boat up, and then another week to get it to Miami to meet my friends. So I put myself through a week and a half boot camp. 8 a.m. to 3 in the morning every day, working on the boat by myself. My dad came down and helped me do some cleaning, and spent the last couple days, you know, helping me dial everything in and do the heavy lifting. So there's a lot of stuff that I didn't record repair-wise that I should have recorded, but I was just so focused on getting this thing done. So in this video, you'll see everything I did record, a lot of the big stuff, the most important stuff, like repairing the hull and things of that nature. But I will say I met my deadline. I got the boat in the water, and I got it all the way from the west side of Florida to the east side of Florida through the Okeechobee. So the very next video, and no, I will not make you wait a month for it, will be the maiden voyage of this boat. And it's a cool one, through the Okeechobee with my dad. First time I drove, you know, a boat like this big, through 5 locks in the Okeechobee waterway. It was really, really cool. So that is coming. But for now, this is me scrambling all around, doing the work on the boat, getting it ready to go in the water, and putting it in the water in a week and a half. From hurricane damaged salvage boat to in the water Hatteras 50 ready to go. Here it is. By the way, I'm posting this in the order that I recorded it, so you'll be able to see how all over the place I was when I was recording this, but I'm not gonna organize this, that. I'm gonna play it as it was. You're gonna see it how it was, and that's it. Enjoy. All right, well, Quest is coming back out of the water. Quest is coming out since I bought the Hatteras. Sad, but she has to get sold. You know, it's a little sad that I didn't even get to like take Quest on one last little ride. But, you know, I guess she ain't sold yet, so. So before I start to get questions about how much do you want for the Albin, I have to say I sold the Albin. I sold it to my friend Craig, and he actually turned it into an Airbnb boat. So I'll try and find the link for it on Airbnb, and I'll post it in the description. If you end up renting it in Miami Beach, it's in Miami Beach. If you end up renting it, tell him that you saw it on my YouTube channel. Maybe he'll throw me something, you never know. But I did end up getting to take the Albin on one last ride. I brought it all the way through the Okeechobee from Port Charlotte to Miami Beach. So I got one last cool trip on the Albin. It was awesome, and it's still in the family, so that's what's really cool. I'm glad to know that I'll get to see the boat, and every time I visit Miami on my boat, it'll be here. She's running like a top though. She really is. Such a good boat. Such a good freaking boat. Really treated me well as like my first, this is like my first real, you know, boat, twin diesel. And now I'm stepping up to the Hatteras. So it's like, wow. Poor Quest. Just like that, she's disappearing. Sad. The footage you're about to see in this video took place from mid to late December, so this is like a short period in time. All right, so getting into work on the Hatteras here and going right down my list. First things first was to get the engines running. Needed to know that they ran good before I proceeded with my work, because that's a big problem if they don't run. Long story short, they essentially both fired right up instantly. Plumbed water to them. They run like clockwork. They fired up like they were running yesterday. So engines are good. Gears work. Threw them both into forward reverse real quick. Now I'm on to the generator. First, I plumbed water to the generator. Generator not getting water. Took apart the whole frickin' water strainer through hole system, and you wouldn't even believe what. You know what? I'll go get the strainer so you can see what's in there. All right, so it's day 2 working on the Hatteras. My dad's here helping me. It's kind of dark, but we're going through all the...
A lot of stuff. It's, well, the stuff that has accumulated since 1968, I imagine. Right? It's like every time you open a drawer, there's something else. It's just...
It's crazy.
Voluminous.
Yeah, so once we get it all cleaned up, I'll report back. But for now, we're just... things torn apart. She's torn apart. Alright, so it's like, I don't know, probably 11 o'clock on day 2, working on the hat. And I got this jet pump apart. Determined that it appears as if the motor is seized, not the pump. So, there's not much to this pump, to be honest. So I'm going to take it apart a little deeper. If I can't, you know, reliably fix this thing, I'm just going to buy a new one. Alright, so here's where I'm at right now. I'm doing all sorts of work. I'm running all over the place. I fixed the whole fuel polishing system, got both primer pumps working, had some weird reverse polarity issue that I figured out. Got the other primer pump working. I have this fresh water pump apart just to, you know, see how everything's looking in there. Right now I am getting ready to cut a hole in this bulkhead or box right here, so I can access the damage from the inside of the boat. Straight in the boat, straight through the boat rather, below the water line. So that's not good. So that little hole on the outside, I'm gonna access from in here, from out there. Had a couple fiberglass guys look at it and they basically said this is a cake repair. They're like, you got very lucky. So I'm gonna cut this square out and hopefully expose the damage completely. All right, so I'm in here in the engine room. I got all this cut out. I got all this foam out of here. I cleaned it up. I started grinding from the inside and the outside. Suppose I should have got some better footage before I started my grind, but essentially that's the hole in the boat below the water line. There's no real cracking around the area that's messed up, so what we'll do is we'll taper it, make a nice taper. We'll fill it in from the inside and then fill it in from the outside. She should be good to go. All right, so it's evening time and I've got the boat ripped apart in a million pieces right now. Not doing anything in there. So this room is gonna need the headliner. Haven't messed with that. Figured out what lights are 32 volts and what lights are 120 volts. And ordered new LED fixtures for all this. I'm converting the whole boat over to LED so that I can run the 120 system on an inverter with its own bank of batteries. That way, you really need a generator for a boat like this. It's crazy. So I just put those lights in. Those are LED lights. And I'm getting ready to tear the carpet out of here, so this place is a total mess. But what I'm really working on at this moment is I'm in the generator room. So I'll show you what I got going on here. I have the whole sound shield off of the generator and I am doing a full inspection. So here she is right here. I know it's not very well lit. So this right here is a 15 kilowatt Onan generator and it is powered by a 4-cylinder non-turbo diesel engine. So when I found this thing, the raw water strainer, which is over there down under there, was totally plugged up with sand, dirt, you name it, it was plugged with it. So I knew the water pump was gonna be messed up. And I know this thing's pretty messed up, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not
as bad as you would have thought for someone that probably overheated it a couple times. I'm guessing it got overheated a couple times. Fortunately, these things will shut themselves down before they do any damage if the temp system's working properly. I never got it hot, so I don't know. But the raw water pump's right there. I know it's really dark, but I'm gonna change all the hoses on this thing just because there's a lot of old hoses that look really old. Also, right now, I'm gonna go through and change all of the clamps for all these sewage lines because they're a little rusty and you don't want to lose a clamp on a sewage line. So over here is the 12-volt battery that powers the engines. Since they're newer, since they're modern Cummins, they run on 12 volts. And then over here is your 32-volt battery bank. I know you're probably thinking, holy crap, that's a lot of freaking wires and whatnot. But in all honesty, it's not that bad. Everything is reasonable for a boat of its age. So, as you can see, let me get out of here.
So as you can see, I got a lot going on over here, but I'm getting her going. So we're still on target trajectory to launch this thing next Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, so it'd be a week from today. I tightened up some wires behind the control panel over here. There was a couple loose connections, looking through stuff. But we're getting her done. So I try to video as I go along, but it's tricky because you get so involved in what you're doing that you just don't video it. So I'll try and keep you posted about what I have going on over here and the progress that I make. Until my next recording session, I'll check out. Alright, so I didn't record at all yesterday because I was just busy at work, working on this thing till like 3:30 in the morning. And I had to sleep in a little bit this morning. So it's about 10 a.m. right now, and I'm just getting back into it. I'll show you what I was up to last night. Basically, I have the whole generator compartment still apart. I pulled the caps off the heat exchanger, replacing all the hoses. I already told you that, blah, blah, blah. But I did happen to notice that the issue that it was having with the starter only engaging sometimes turns out to not be a starter. The ring gear on the flywheel is partially stripped. So, good news and bad news. Good news is that you don't need to pull the generator out to change the flywheel. Looks like you pull one cover off, comes right off. Bad news is I have to change the flywheel. But for now, it's still starting. So I filed down all the teeth, lubed up the Bendix on the starter, lubed up the ring gear, and it appears to be working pretty good right now, but it's not something you want to rely on, having a partially stripped ring gear. It's not missing any teeth, but the starts of the teeth where the gear engages are getting a little chewed up, so gonna have to change the flywheel. I forget if I already said this or not, but the windlass is all fixed. Someone had it wired up to 12 volts. It's a 24-volt windlass, so I tapped off about 3/4 of the way through the 36-volt bank, which consists of 8 8-volt batteries. So 8 8-volt batteries, because 4 8-volt batteries wired in series make 32 volts, and then the 2 banks of 4 are wired together in parallel to continue the 32 volts with double the capacity. Other than that, all is good. The Merino over here is about to get inundated with packages. I probably ordered, I couldn't even tell you, maybe 25, 30 packages from Amazon. They're doing some sandblasting next door. Crazy. Today, I am getting started on the fiberglass work. So I'll show you what we got out here for exterior damage. First things first, need to get this door repaired. I dropped the glass off yesterday
It's just like this door. That's why this is here. Secondly, I pulled the dinghy davit. I pulled the dinghy crane out because I need to fix a little of the glass right here and here. That'll be no big deal. I have this whole tweaked hardtop ratchet strapped to a cleat. I've got it all lined back up. I need to screw it in place how it was, and then I need to glass it. Then I've got all this glass work to do. This is where that support goes. It mounts here. As you can see, bracket's a little freaking bent. No worries though, I'll glue that back together. Oh, see, this is no good. This is that's really, you know, needs to be fixed. So I'm gonna put a clamp or two on that just to hold it up for now, and while I'm working on the rest of this. But it's time to run to the glass store. Need to get probably 6, 7, 8 yards of chop mat and a couple gallons more of resin. So that's the update on what I have going on. Still on trajectory to drop this thing in the water next Wednesday, but it's a lot of freaking work. So also, I'm converting every bulb in the whole boat to LED. Trying to figure out how I can set up an inverter system to run the AC system. It's a little complicated because this boat has a 32 volt system, and the engines, the updated engines, run on 12 volts. So my idea was that maybe I run 3 sets of 12 volt batteries in series to make 36 volts and hope that all of the 32 volt pumps and things of that nature can handle the extra voltage, which I think they could after doing some Google research. And most of the electronics are already upgraded to 12 volts anyway, so I don't need to worry about any of that. But one big thing, if I do that, is that I need to buy a 36 volt inverter. So yeah, I won't bore you with the details. I've got it pondering in my head, and I'll make it work, and then I'll simplify it for the video. So every bulb in this boat, down to the bulbs that light up the back of the gauge cluster, everything is going LED in this boat. We need ultimate efficiency. I can't afford to run that genset all the time, nor do I want to rely on running that genset all the time. I want to be able to run all my lights and everything off of inverter power, and I want to be able to run the lights off my little Predator gas generator if I need to, and charge the batteries with that. So with that said, I'll be relying on the big Onan generator only for, you know, if I have guests over and we need to run the ACs and ice maker and all that good stuff simultaneously, which in that case would be fine. But for the majority of my living aboard on the Hatteras, I can't be running that big diesel generator all the time. So other than that, I've just been plugging away. It was nice to have my dad here to help me for a day 2 days ago, but I'm back to just working on this beast by myself now. And as you can see, I've got many projects on my hands, but I'm staying focused, getting her done, really having fun doing this. Like, this is freaking cool. I'm ultra motivated because this is a badass boat, and I'm super excited about the whole freaking thing. So stay tuned, I'll keep some more coming. All right, so it is 2 days from when you last saw me. Last night I was over here working until probably 3:30 in the morning, just random stuff. It's never ending. So essentially what I've done is rewired all of the bilge pumps. I gotta get that old terminal strip out of there. I mean, you can just see some new float switches, some junk had to get out of there. I don't know why there's Dex Cool in this boat, but you definitely don't want to put that in these Cummins motors. Junk. We've got the well pump out. I have both stuffing boxes completely apart and open. I'm replacing the stuffing. The stuffing in this one didn't look all that bad, but the stuffing in this one was definitely expired. So I'm glad I'm taking care of it. Over here, you can see some yuckiness in the bilge. That's because I guess the previous owner plumbed his washing machine drain into the bilge. So I'll have to fix that. I'll plumb the washing machine out. Probably that unused seacock over there. Or maybe I can tap in one of the AC drains with a couple check valves. I'll have to do some research. Haven't quite decided what I'm gonna do yet. Replacing the lines going to the fuel polisher. I'll show you why. Take a look at this. So I tried to cut it back, but it's no good. Needs to be replaced. Fortunately, all the other fuel lines have been replaced, so it's just that polisher that's probably original to the old Detroit engines. Also, I have this whole shower valve apart. I'm replacing that so I can get rid of this ball valve. I don't want that anymore. LED bulb in here too. It's a little tricky though because the whole DC system is 32 volts. So you have to find compatible bulbs and light fixtures and whatnot. All the carpet back here is coming out. So I'm not worried about getting it all messed up. Like last night, my wetback, freaking a hole rusted in it. So all this carpet's coming out, new carpet going in. I'm getting ready to pump out some standing water that's back here, which is partially why this carpet got messed up. Somehow, some way, it doesn't smell bad in here. Also, last night, I finished up on the generator. So the generator's all set, all new lines, cleaned out strainer, new lines going all the way to the seacock, cleaned out this bilge. I also pumped out the heat exchanger, so now there's no more crap. Actually, the heat exchanger was pretty clean. I guess the strainer did its job, but some stuff came out. So heat exchanger is totally cleaned out. No problem. Getting ready to put the cover back on the generator here, and I had the heat exchanger opened up for some service. So I'm cutting out some new rubber gaskets for the caps. That was the last heat exchanger I did on my boat. Other boat. I ran new lines from the strainer to the seacock and from the strainer to the generator. Yeah. So, I've got some sending units on order to plug up these holes in the fuel tanks that someone had the sending units out. Today's project is I need to finish up on what I started here. This hole in the hull, gotta finish that up. So I've cleaned up in here a little bit. Essentially, I need to do a little more grinding, and then I'm gonna patch the inside, start small, work your way out, and then the outside comes next. Alright, so this is my interior repair all done on the inside. This will be much less structural than the outside repair, more or less something to hold the outside repair, but this is like a bubble on the outside, so I filled this in. There's probably 15 layers of glass here. That's freaking thick stuff. So now I'm gonna go on the outside and fix that up. And this is what it looks like from the outside. So as you can see, it's bubbled out. And I'm gonna taper all this out more. And she'll be a really nice repair. All right, so I got this all nice and tapered. Still got plenty of structure on the inside, so now I can do the final and most structural repair into the taper, starting in the center, working our way out. Should be strong. Alright, let me turn the radio off, so that way we don't get copyrighted. But I fixed the outside of the hull. I'll show you that when we get down there, but While I'm waiting for that to cure, I just fixed up this support for the point of support where this big support pole goes. So once I get that pole set back up, I can fix the rest of this. But fortunately, I can do all this on anchor as well. The important stuff is the below the waterline stuff that I've already fixed, so we'll take a walk down there and take a look. All right, so here is my fiberglass repair, all said and done. And then another little spot. This wasn't a hole, it was just a little gouge I fixed. Ready for cleaning and painting. Just did the epoxy barrier coat, and I'm gonna do probably 1, 2, maybe 3 more coats of this, and then I'll paint it blue like the rest of the bottom with anti-foul, and she'll be ready to rip. I'll show you a little bit of what's going on here at the stuffing box. It took me hours to get all the old stuff out, but I've got some new pieces all cut and ready. First though, after I cut the pieces to size, I hammer them out so they're nice and flat. Then when they get squished, they'll widen up again. And then I put a little bit of this stuff on them, Syntef shaft packing lube. Getting it in there can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but basically just have to kind of get it started, mess around with the stuffing box. There she is. This is a test video pre-launch day. 3 in the morning. Over. Today's the day. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm completely dead. I was up till 4 in the morning last night working on this thing. I'm smoked. I'm done. After this, I need a good sleep. This whole week's been nuts. But we've got the machine coming around. Wow. Freaking barely fits. So, today's the day that the Bella Rose gets launched. It's been a long, grueling week working on her. Up late every night. But now she is ready to meet her match in the water. It's been a really long week. I am beat. I was up wicked late. So we're gonna test all her systems today for the first time and put her in the water for the first time in a couple of years.
I don't know, man. It's not big enough for you. It's not large. Maybe Elon is selling his boat.
My newfound boatyard friends.
There you go.
It's an awesome place over here at Safe Cove. That's a big freaking boat, man. What the hell did I get myself into this time? This is what I got myself into. Whew! Holy crap. Joe! It's my boatyard friend Joe. He's the man. that was like the first lesson I learned in boating. When you're docking, slower the better.
Don't go any faster than you want to hit something. Yes, that was the best piece of advice. And I got that from an old fisherman up north.
I'm excited to see where she sits. Oh, she sits nice. Wow. Holy crap. I did not expect that.
You guys are having fun up there.
Sir, this is the maiden, first time this thing will be in gear.
Let me pull you out a little bit before you put it in gear.
Did you put the nut on the prop?
I think it was there.
About to find out. Look at all this friggin' schmozzle.
I'm ready.
Captain Gus.
We're gonna give it a shot. It's a big boat.
Alright. It is a big boat. Little controversy about the water flow out the exhaust, but it looks alright. He's dropping the straps out and away she goes. Pretty from the front.
That 100 feels good.
Commander Gus got this baby under control. Pretty sweet. Oh man. Well, that's a highway.
We are on a test ride right now, and I brought my friend Neil with me and his sister. And you don't want to be on YouTube?
Too late.
Too late. And the boat's doing great. So, you know, obviously we still have this damage up here, but we have a little shaft vibration going on the port side, the side it fell on. Nothing too major. I think it's going to be just fine. Fortunately, they're split shafts, so I can replace the bent half with the boat in the water. So that's good. She's running great. Temps are good. Oil pressure is solid. Little exhaust leak on the port side. The blower kind of keeps it out, but you know, every boat like this is going to need a couple things. Overall, I'd say she's ready to sail. What do you think, Neil?
Agreed. Miami,
Sweet.
here you come.
So you want to hear something really cool? Neil watched me on YouTube from the very beginning, before he knew anything about me being at this boatyard, anything of any sorts, just knew me from the channel. So it's really cool to be out here with you, and it's just awesome. Neil really helped me out with you know, some of the fiberglass stuff, and now he's here giving me a helping hand. So very appreciative, Neil. Thank you.
Thanks for taking us for a ride on the new boat. And
Hell
good
yeah.
luck with it, Gus.
Thank you. Very good. So that'll be our test drive. We're gonna head back to Safe Cove now, and that's it.
So the boat is absolutely amazing. How did you come to get it, buy it?
So it's the craziest story how I got this thing. I essentially headed here from New Hampshire to fix the Albin up, drop it back in the water, and head out on it to go cruising. And I spent a week working on the Albin. I put a new fuel tank in it. I painted the bottom. I got it totally ready to cruise and dropped it in the water. And then the day I dropped it in the water, parked on the dock, I walk up the ramp to the dock, and right in front of me sits this boat, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's a beautiful Hatteras, love it. And essentially I asked the guy that works here, what's up with the Hatteras with the hole in the side of it? And he says, it's for sale. And I'm like, wow, what does he want for it? He told me what he wanted for it, and it was a reasonable number, far below market value for this boat. And he gave me the guy's contact info. I talked to the guy, made him an offer, which was even less than that. And at first he's like, man, I can't go that low. And then I talked to the guy and just talked to him, and his name's Clint. Good guy, really good guy. I told him I'd take him out on the boat.
Nice.
Once it's all ready to go. Finally, he's like, you know what? You seem like a cool kid. You're gonna do what I want to see done with the boat. Just bring me the money, take the boat. So,
Awesome.
so I paid him for it, and there's a bunch of side stories that go along. Like, the bank wouldn't let me take out more than $5 grand per day per me. So I met this guy. I'm sitting in the parking lot of the bank trying to figure out, how can I get this money? I need to buy the boat. Someone else is gonna buy it. There's other people interested in it. And this guy knocks on the window of my truck, and he's like, hey, I need a jump start. Can you jump start me? Any way you can jump start. I'm like, yeah, no problem. So pulled up, jump started him. Come to find out, he knows the manager of the bank very well, pulled some strings, and was able to get me the money. And you know, obviously he took it out of his account and I transferred it to his account, whatever. But it's just the stories. And then this guy just likes me. We went to his friend's yacht. He has a 65-foot motor catamaran in Sarasota. We went there and looked at his cat, like, crazy stories. But anyways, that's how I got it.
That's awesome. Wow.
And here we are, a week later, after a bunch of work, driving this thing through the canal.
On your first trip.
First voyage. You guys are here for it. I'm gonna go right here. I just got the whole air conditioning system fired up. It's working freaking awesome. Except for the fact my shore power is a little weak. I've got that off the exhaust, checking for leaks. We're running a little low on AC voltage. Alrighty, good morning. So, it is Christmas Eve 2022. I'm in the Hatteras, we're on the dock right now. We've been in the water for 2 days, and today my dad came here. He's upstairs helping me vacuum up some of the broken glass on the flybridge. I'm going through the boat, front to back, getting ready to finish up the carpet back here. The paint's done. I've got the heater working because it is frigid here this Christmas Eve in Florida. Woke up this morning and it's like 30 something degrees. Just a reminder that being up north in New Hampshire is no fun in the winter, because even 38 degrees is cold. So I have this toilet all apart because last night I was trying to get the toilets working and something wasn't working. I found that the discharge motor, which is like a macerator, there's two motors in this toilet. There's an intake and a discharge pump. And this is the motor for the discharge pump. The windings in the coil and the commutator are melted. So that's not good. I'm trying to get a new motor for it. But for now, I think what I'll do is I'll take this toilet, because this one's stuck but I didn't burn the windings yet. I'll free it up, get it working, and then I'll put it in my stateroom, bathroom, which is here. That way my room's done. This one can wait because the guest head is the one forward. So, other than that, just getting ready to leave. Alright, so I'm deep into the other toilet now. I'll show you what I've got going on here. Right here is a Raritan toilet. So you've got your seawater intake, poop discharge, and 32 volts coming in. And you have this unit. This is the suction pump that sucks seawater up, pushes it up into the bowl and out through the top of the bowl, and this is the macerator portion of it. This sucks the toilet bowl dry, grinds up the poop, shoves it out that outlet into the discharge tube. So basically the other toilet, I burnt up the discharge pump because whoever left the toilets, you know, they just left them. You're supposed to leave these dry, but if you don't, they get all crusty. So this one's all crusty, seized. Before I burn the motor out, I want to try and free it up and see if I can save it. Things are getting poopy. Early AM, maiden voyage day. So, to make a long story short, I did a ton of work to the boat and we're having trouble getting out of this canal system because it's really shallow. So we're gonna attempt it. Someone out there, Dad?
Yeah, what's this guy's name? He just said if we have any last minute trash, so
Yeah.
I said sure.
So that's pretty much everything that went into that week and a half, 2 weeks of getting the boat ready to go on the water, putting it in the water. As you can imagine and as you saw, I had my hands full, so there was some stuff that didn't get recorded, didn't make it in the video. Like, I took the whole windshield off of the flybridge and cleaned all that up. Did a lot of cleaning in the boat, just got it, you know, presentable and livable and drivable. I rebedded all the railings on the port side that got messed up, resecured the whole hardtop structure, fixed the dinghy crane, got all that working good. Fresh water pump, fixed that, fixed some plumbing, finished up the shower valve and replaced the head, and
There is just all sorts of stuff, and I didn't get around to recording all of it, but I hope this video gave you a pretty good idea of what I went through to get the boat ready to go. And essentially that's everything leading up to the maiden voyage. So the next video is the maiden voyage. It'll be out real soon. Stay tuned. If you like the videos, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Sorry I didn't reply to any of the comments on the last video. I've had my hands full. So I read them though, and man, it's so awesome. So thank you guys, and see you next time. Alrighty, it's the maiden voyage. So I didn't do a lot of recording the last probably 4 or 5 days because I was so busy getting this thing ready to go. But we're leaving Safe Cove. My dad's been here since last Friday. It's Wednesday. And the big problem is that there's no water in Charlotte Harbor right now because of the north winds. So it's gonna be a little sketchy getting out of here, but we're gonna give it our best shot and